So, a funny thing happened to me on a visit to the doctor's office. Kind of strange, but I want to tell you about it. I want to also make a video on it because I keep telling this story a lot and I don't want it to slip away out of my memory. I kind of wanted to tell it because it was just so powerful and the feelings of it were so visceral that I don't ever want to forget it. And I want to be able to tell this story, and the best way I could tell it is by making a video. So, what had happened recently is, many of you know or you've seen me work out, I go a little bit crazy, to put it mildly. And I had injured my thumb, this thumb, in a burpee competition. Now, it wasn't really a burpee competition, but the first part of it was to do as many burpees as you can. I think 20 of them or whatever, as fast as you can. And, you know, there was a bunch of us doing it, and of course I wanted to finish first. What else is new? Anyway, so I had this thing where I do burpees, not to digress from this too much, but just to understand how I injured my thumb, I kind of fall on myself when I do a burpee, and it's a kind of a violent act, and one of the times I did it, I actually had my thumb in the wrong position, so I rolled it when I actually fell, and then fell on top of it, to boot. And I did hear it crunch, which wasn't good either. It wasn't a good sound, and it didn't feel good. Needless to say, I finished the rest of the workout. It was a 90-minute workout, so it was insane. I grunned and bared it, but I knew that my thumb wasn't good. And I was a little worried because I had a race. I had the tuxedo race the next weekend. So I wanted to get it checked out just to make sure I wasn't going to injure it or make sure it wasn't broken, really. That was what I wanted to make sure. Anyway, so I go, at lunchtime I wanted to go to the doctor's office because I have a bunch of stuff I do after work, and it's very hard for me to do it after work. So I tried to do it in my lunch hour. I scheduled it. And as you know, you go to the doctor's office and they make you wait in the waiting room, and you wait, and then they say, okay, we're ready, and then they bring you in, and then you wait in the exam room. So you wait twice. I don't know whether that's part of the new healthcare plan or whatever, but it's kind of irritating. Anyway, I was taking up most of my time for lunch, and I felt like I was going to be late for work, and I actually got up and I said, I went to the front and I'm like, look, I got to go, and look, can I come back? And, you know, this is sorry, but I really need to go back to work. And just as I was saying that, the doctor came up and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, we were running a little late, but just come in, I'll check you out and everything like that. So I was like, all right, you know, whatever. That was good. I went into the exam room, and of course, the first thing when you get an exam like this is they ask you, how did this happen? And as soon as I said the word burpee, she was like, oh my God, you're one of those people. And yes, I told her, yes, I am. Not only the burpee, but I think she realized that all the stuff that goes along with burpees, the CrossFit, the crazy workouts, and of course the obstacle course racing that we're all familiar with. It's kind of a subculture among, you know, normal people. So I tried to explain to her that, you know, I was doing this, and I think she, you know, she was just saying it laughably, but she was more intrigued, I think, than anything about, you know, what kind of individuals does this and what, you know, what goes through our heads. And I know we all have different stories. Every single one of us has different stories, but I had to tell her my story. And we got, you know, to talking about it, why I did it, when I first started, how long I do, what I trained for, and everything like that. And we got to a point in the conversation where she asked me a question that not everybody, or I don't think anybody had asked me, you know, just like this. But she says, what is your greatest reward right now? Like, you know, recently, like, what's your greatest reward? And without me, you know, I had not even understood the question so much because no one had ever asked me before, but I didn't even think about it. The thing that I said instantly, without missing a beat, was the fact that my story has not only helped me, it's helped other people. And just as I was telling her that, I started sobbing uncontrollably. It was just on the surface. I guess it always is just on the surface with me, but the power of that is so overwhelming to me that I not only turned myself around, but I'm able to give incentive to other people to help them change. So many of you have come up to me in the races and said, you know, I saw your stuff and I decided to do this or that, or this is my first time attempting this. And I do get emotional sometimes when people tell me. I get a little choked up to know that what I do is somehow affecting people in a positive way. And that feeling is just overwhelming to me. And she actually hugged me in the office, and I just felt it. I don't know if that's actually part of the healthcare plan either, but I just thought it was just the most amazing visit to the doctor's office I've ever had. Just something very routine wound up being an event that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I wanted to share it because I tell it so many times now, and I could document it because it's just a good feeling. It's a good story. And the other thing I wanted to say is just to remember, if you see me at a race, I know most people, you know, have messaged me and said, you know, I wanted to come up and meet you, but I didn't know whether you were receptive to meeting people, or I thought I would, you know, I was intimidated. I don't know why anybody would be intimidated by me. I'm not an intimidating looking person. I'm a normal looking guy. I just want, if you see me at a race or an event or anything, or walking down the street, don't ever feel like I don't want to listen to your story. I'm not going to, you know, I'm just going to dismiss you. That couldn't be further from the truth. I would love to hear your story. I love it. I love hearing what people have to say. I want to know what made you change. What was the demarcation for you? What was the moment you said no more? I know what my moment was, but I want to know what your moment was. And so that's what I'm saying. Just please feel free to talk to me, and I'm always willing to listen. So have a good day, and have a good 4th of July. I'll see you guys around.